were your parents supportive of this, or were they a little bit hesitant when you were opting?
They were not hesitant, but they were not sure, they were like insecure, I would say. In the entire 10 years till 23, 2013 till 2023, was very difficult because
Have you ever been in love?
have I ever been in love? Yes, it's
You're watching Popcorn with PU, Goa's leading podcast channel.
Guys, welcome back to another interesting episode of Popcorn with You. I'm your host Priyanka Naikdesai, and today we have with us singer, performer Sonia Sinsap. So without wasting any more time, please join me in for that. Let's get started.
This is brought to you by Popcorn with PU, powered by Terra by Ocean Palms. Goa good food? Check. Pretty vibes? Double check. Food so good you forget to talk? Absolutely. From chill brunches to vibey dinners, Terra is that place. Come hungry, leave happy, and slightly obsessed. Terra by Ocean Palms. Eat, chill, repeat.
Hello, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm good, Priyanka. Thank you.
First of all, a very big thank you for hosting us at your place. You have got lovely house full of aesthetic.
Thank you. Thank you and welcome.
I also heard that you have some cute dogs at your place.
Yes, I do. I've got 3 dogs at the moment. 2 years old, less than 2. They're all adopted. One is Indie. She's chocolate brown. So her name is Chucky. And then there are 2 lab sisters. They're lab mix. Yeah. So the white one has brown trimmings at the, edging on the ear. It's honey color. So her name is Honey. And the other one is black. So her name is Kalu. Couldn't find any other name.
Okay. I would love to meet them at the end though.
Yes, definitely at the end. Not right now.
Okay. Is this where you were brought up? Like, is this the place where you have spent your childhood?
Yes. I was born in my dad's hospital.
Okay.
Which is about 200 meters here from
Your
house.
dad is a
My dad was a doctor, yes. And then we lived down the street for till I was about 10. Then my dad constructed this house and then we moved here. So I've been here for 35 years. Yeah.
So how did you enter? Can you tell us a bit about your early life? Like how did you actually enter into music and all of this thing?
Um, Music was a hobby
Yes.
right through childhood. So singing in school, singing in cultural events was normal. My mother used to like to sing, so she used to sing at home, while doing her crochet, embroidery, or cooking, or whatever. And then we used to sing, 3 of us, my brother, my mom, and me. My dad used to love music, so every morning, especially during holidays, to wake us up, there were no alarms, but he would put on his LPs, loud. That was alarm enough. So we had to get up. So he used to put a lot of Chris Perry, Lorna. He used to put Alfred Rose. He used to put lots of Hindi music. English also. He loved ABBA. He loved. During Christmas, it was non-stop Jim Reeves. So he used to play. So that way, music was always part of the house. But professionally, I don't have anybody in the family that's in.
So you're
been
the
in
first
career.
one.
Yes, you can say that.
When did you realize that this is just more than hobby, that you want to choose this as a professional career?
I'll tell you a funny thing that happened.
Yes.
When I was not funny, and very cute actually. I was completing my SSC. The first main question after SSC is what next? What do you want to do next? Now this was in 1995. And at that time there was no internet and all that stuff wasn't really happening. So how do you know what profession? From the professions you see around.
Yeah.
My father was a doctor. And I did not like science subjects much. Chemistry was out. So I told my father, if there's anything I can study without chemistry, I'll do that. So it didn't make sense to take science. And then accounts, we did not know what accounts was. In school, we didn't have an account subject. So then arts, languages, not sure. So what my dad did is he came with a big book, career guidance book. Each page was one profession. Qualifications required, where you can study, all that. I went through that book the whole day. In the evening, he sat with me and he said, "So what have you decided?" I said, "I can't make up my mind. I don't know what I want to do." So he looked at my brother and he said, "Put some sense in her brain. No? Talk to her like, you talk to her." So my brother put it in a different way. He asked me, "What do you see yourself doing when you grow up and when you're a grown up? What type of work do you see yourself doing? What would you like to do?" I says, "I like to sing." So my father said, No. Next, other than that, what would you like to do?" So if not singing, I said, "I'd like to teach." My father, "Just put her in commerce," because my brother had done commerce. So at least she'll follow you and you'll be able to help her in her studies. Years passed. I did my BCom, I did my LLB, I did my LLM. During my LLB, I started professional singing. And at the end of LLM, so I was 26 by then, I was doing exactly those two things. I was singing and I was teaching in the law college. So it was exactly those two things. With a big round, I came back to those two.
And okay, weren't you scared when? So I think earlier you were teaching, and you have not opted as music as a full-time thing when you were teaching in the beginning, right? So when you took this shift of leaving a job and opting,
Into singing, yeah. So it was the other way around actually. Singing came during my studies. So I was doing my LLB
yeah,
and I joined a band called Status 4 from Margaon. So it was 2002.
yes,
I finished, so while singing with the band, I finished my LLB, I finished my LLM, and I started teaching in the law college.
okay,
And I was teaching for about 4 years. Now, by that time, my singing had already taken a big leap. And I was traveling abroad for concerts and I was, so that is when I made the choice, yeah. And I got totally into singing.
So were your parents supportive of this, or were they a little bit hesitant when you were opting?
They were not hesitant, but they were not sure, they were like insecure, I would say. Because as I said, there's nobody in the family who has taken music up as a profession. Even in their circles, they did not have people that were full-time artists, So they didn't know what life would be like for their daughter if she had to leave a teaching job or a lawyer's practice and get into singing. Naturally, all parents are worried. But I guess by that time, they also understood. Because by that time, I had already been awarded by the state Srujan Puraskar, which was Goa Art and Culture Department gives that award. So it's for people below 40 who have excelled in arts. So, so things like that, recognition like that, traveling abroad, trips abroad. And they were also a little worried about, how I would handle the finances. So they saw that my handling of finances was not erratic and not, haywire. So then they were a little more secure and yeah, my father till the end kept asking me, "Don't you think you want to go and spend like a couple of evenings in a lawyer's office?" I said, "No, I don't." What?
Okay. Being an artist, what are the struggles that an artist encounters in his or her life? I would want to know about it. Like, see, what we see on media is the glamorous life as has been documented. But what's the behind the scene that stories? Yes.
So there are lots of difficulties that artists go through. I mean, every profession has its own hardships. Yeah, each one to each profession. For example, and some things which general public don't understand or don't realize. So first and foremost, for a musician to play an instrument, he or she has to spend years learning and mastering that instrument. Vocalists have years of training. I have not trained, but yes, I've spent lots of years singing. So all those years, it's not just your 3-year graduation course or 4-year internship. It's not that. It's from the age of 7. till the age of, say, 37. So 30 years, okay, you've been studying a particular subject. So there's a lot of, first and foremost, finances involved.
Yes.
Instruments are not cheap. Music classes are not cheap. Singing classes are not cheap. Then sometimes you do a class in your area and then you are advised to go to a different teacher, whether it's Western music or Indian music. And then you travel somewhere else for those classes or workshops and come back. So there's a lot of investment. It's not something that you are just, click. It's not like the Hindi movies where suddenly the hero goes, picks a violin and starts playing sentimental music. Doesn't happen that way. So that way there's a lot of work that goes, which is not seen. Secondly, now in the present moment, if you're already a performer, you're already an artist, I'll give you an example. If I have a performance, I'm going to be on stage. People have seen me for IFI or, some bricks or some big events, big stage, public. So I'm going on stage for, say, 10 minutes.
Yes.
I'm going to sing 2 songs and that is it. That is Sonia Sirsat performance and that's it. For those 10 minutes, the 10 minutes is scheduled, say, at 7 o'clock in the evening. So 7 to 7:10, that's all. I have reached the venue at 3 in the afternoon. Okay. Because we have a sound check, we have a dress rehearsal, we have a dry run, all that. All that is done by 5 o'clock. From 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we're sitting there doing makeup and whatever, and just sitting, just waiting. And then, of course, the event people will, have the flow and then they'll send artists one by one on stage. So just for those 10 minutes, I have been there at 3 o'clock. That means I've left my home at about 1:30. The previous day, we have already had another drill. So the previous evening has also gone in that same whole, flow of the evening and just for 10 minutes. Now a normal show, like for example, we do a show at any of the auditoriums, okay? Same thing, the auditorium, I'm going on stage from, say, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. 2 hours on stage. I have reached the venue at 3 or sometimes even in the morning for rehearsals and sound check. So I've left home at 9 in the morning. Okay. The show gets over at 7. We wind up, people come and meet us, we talk, which is very nice. We leave the venue by 9 o'clock. I reach home only at 10:30. Okay, so the show is only from 5 to 7, but the entire day is gone. So these are things that people don't understand, When you say that I'll be on stage at 9, but I need to be at the venue at 3. Why? But that's all that, the prep that goes in, Yeah, so these are things which, especially in my area, my field, that people do not understand, or rather they don't realize that so much of time and effort. And what happens is, imagine you've left your house at 9 in the morning.
Yes.
At 5 in the evening, when you're going on stage, you have to be full of energy, with a smile on your face, a glow there, which any other profession, people are already walking home at the end of the day, 9 to 5, and they're home and they don't want to get up. Yeah, so this is the other way around sometimes. Yeah.
Because this side of it, people usually ignore the thing. Is what we see on television is, okay, this person is coming for 10 minutes of little time. Okay. What about, what advice would you have for someone young who would want to pursue career into music? Is it easy for them to be financially independent in this career?
See, Goa has a lot of opportunities.
Yes.
And my advice to anybody who's getting into this field is, be sure what are your strong points.
Okay.
And work hard at those. Don't try to just compete with somebody else or try to put that person down. Don't do that. There's a lot of scope in Goa. There's a lot of scope. Everybody has opportunities and openings. So there's no need of pulling somebody down to get that person's place. That is not a right attitude. Yeah. Secondly, a lot of discipline.
Okay.
Because our shows are usually at night. Okay, entertainment in Goa. If they're hotel shows or restaurant shows or they are public shows or ticketed shows, whatever. Usually it's in the evening. After that, after the show gets over, you have dinner. Then sometimes you have alcohol. Boys as well as girls, okay? Then you have hanging around. Then they'll go to some friend's place. Then by the time it'll be 3 or 4 in the morning, you reach home. So what has happened is your sleep cycle has got disturbed. Next morning, even if you sleep till 3 in the afternoon, it's not the same. So discipline, I think, is of utmost importance for your self-care, you know. This is the advice I would give. Dedication to the profession, yes, you have to be dedicated, you have to rehearse, you have to have sound checks, you have to, all that is fine. But this about, so usually I finish my shows and I come straight home. Very rarely, maybe 3 times or 4 times in a year, I'll hang out after the show. I just go straight home and whatever time I just hit the bed. So you need, because your body needs to recover. Otherwise the next day you are, you know, again tired and stuff like that. I do not have alcohol. People do. In moderation, it's fine. But you know, that is another area because it's easy. You're exhausted, you're tired, you feel like having something to feel great. And sometimes that could lead to complications. Other thing is discipline in your conduct, in your way you carry yourself. Immaterial of what type of songs you do and where you sing or where you dance. Your performance might need a particular type of attire, you know, but it also depends on how you carry yourself. True. How you maintain your relation with your colleagues, whether they're musicians or dancers or singers or whoever. How you maintain your relation with people who give you the contracts, like events or event companies or restaurants or hotels or whatever. So that is another thing that creates your personality is very important, the way you carry yourself. Then people will behave in a very decent way if you carry yourself well.
Yeah. You said, like, as you said, this profession demands you to stay out late at night.
Yes.
And when you started, probably Goa was not that developed to accept this ideas of girls moving out of home late at night. Even till date, you will find families wherein they do not allow, they are not encouraging their young girls or at times even boys to stay out late at night.
Yeah.
So how was it difficult for you or things were very handy for you?
So what happened for me was I was doing my law. So I had already done my graduation in commerce by then. I was 22 years old. I had just I had just learned to drive.
Yes.
But I wasn't driving without my brother or my dad next to me. I'm still quite a young driver. So I would go for my shows, which were more based in Margao. And I live in Ponda.
Yes.
So I would go either by bus at 5 o'clock in the evening in normal clothes, keep my costume in my bag, have my song book in my bag, catch a bus from Ponda to Fatorda. Get down in Fatorda, our lead guitarist Richie lives in Fatorda. Walk to his house and his wife would be there, his daughter would be there. And then they would give me a room and I would dress up, everything at their house. Then sit with him and go to the show. After the show was over, again come back to his house. And then I used to sleep there at their place. In the morning, his wife would make lovely breakfast for me and all that. And from there, I would go to the Margao bus stand, catch a bus and go to Panjim for law college. Yeah. So my parents were okay because I was not out on the streets at night. I was not going to be going to some pubs at night because these guys also had day jobs. So after the show was over, they wanted to come back home.
Yeah.
And I was like a baby in the band because they were all 20 years elder to me, all the musicians. I was 22, they were all in their 40s. They all had kids going to school. So they were very protective. And I think my parents also were right in allowing me to join this particular band because the 4 musicians, they were very, very protective. I remember, like, you know, when you have, that time we used to do weddings. So that when the wedding breaks happen, you know, there's no music, people are having snacks or whatever. I used to continue sitting on stage. They would go and meet the people and talk. And I didn't know people. I was from Ponda. I didn't know many people at that time. So initial years, we wake up first 2-3 years. So I used to sit up on stage behind the drum kit. Drums are their cymbals. You get hidden behind. But sometimes there would be some people trying to, you know, play funny or come and talk to who's the singer, I want to talk to the girl or things like that. And even if somebody approached the stage, you know, from somewhere, one of the 4 musicians would zoom and come there. like, and then decide whether I should meet that person or not. If they felt, then they would call me, introduce me very formally, If it was not a very, if it was a decent, approach, then they would manage and take the person. I didn't even have to bother. So I was very protected that way. And I do the same with my students now when I take them for performances and all. I'm also very cautious, boys as well as girls. So, yeah. So that way, initially, yes, my parents did have that insecurity, but then once they saw the conduct of me, my musicians, they were more at ease.
Do you have performance anxiety, like anxiousness, before performing anywhere on the stage?
I used to have
Yes.
when I started off, because before joining professional singing, I used to sing for competitions.
Yes.
In competitions, you sing one song. You prepare, whole evening you sing one song and that's it. You join a professional league, you join a band, you're singing like 10 songs, 15 songs in one evening, sometimes more. Non-stop, one after the other.
Yes.
So that would be like a challenge for me. So initially when I got into it, I think it was more like a challenge rather than anxiousness. I do get nervous till date. I do get a little worked up, especially if it's a major show or if I'm doing a lot of new stuff. I don't we've rehearsed well and all, but even that there's always, something might go wrong. So that nervousness is there. Plus the worry of whether the audience will accept it or not, whether they like it or not. So those two things play even now. It's 23 years already, but still it's
It
there.
still comes in mind.
Still counts.
So I have heard that every artist have their ritual before going on the stage. Like I saw a video of Janhvi Kapoor wherein she said that she keeps her right leg first on the stage every time she enters because she thinks that gets a kind of good fortune. And then I have heard many people doing it. Even to a certain extent, if I go on stage, I have this thing which I do not like talking about. So do you have something which people do not know? Like probably you must be doing something behind the stage, something kind of ritual which you do for yourself.
I don't have anything like that. Let me think. No. I think one thing compulsory for me is rehearsal.
Rehearsal.
Yeah, rehearsal. I have to have a rehearsal. Going on stage without a rehearsal, I'll be very nervous. So even if it's, of course, if I'm, like I've sung the same song with the same musicians 1,000 times, then it's okay. But if it's something, that's not regular, I need to have a rehearsal. No, nothing else. No,
That's it.
nothing. No.
Nothing on.
Yeah.
What is music for you?
What is music for me? I don't know. It's difficult to say. But I'll put it in a different, I'll try to explain it this way. So there was a difficult phase in my life,
Okay.
which was for about 10 years, from the age of 33 to 43. That's because my dad had a stroke.
Okay.
And he was the main, the backbone of the family. He was a doctor himself. He had a very good practice. And all of a sudden, I had to look after him. And he would listen only to what I said. I became his mother overnight. He was, his entire left side was paralyzed. So it was like starting from scratch, everything. So a lot of the responsibilities of the house and finances came on me. After that, in 2000, that was 2016, my brother passed away, my only sibling. After that was, of course, getting my parents to manage the loss of their first child. Then again, handling the house. And then COVID came. So there was COVID situation. My father was bedridden by then. And my mother had some health issues also. Then came 2021, my father passed away. In 11 months, my mother passed away. So in the entire 10 years, till 2013 till 2023, was very difficult because it was one thing after the other. It was just getting adjusted to handle this situation. It was another shock that would come, And I think the only thing that kept me sane was music, was my performances, because it was my work I had to do. And as a singer, I had to go up on stage and sing and smile. So you cannot go on stage and sing with a sad face. Nobody's going to call you for another show after that. So I think that sort of gave me like a change from the situation in the house. It also kept me sane, very sane, because otherwise you can go mad with such things coming one after the other. So in a span of 7 years, I lost my entire family. So immediate family now I don't have. So it becomes a little odd, but the shows keep me going because it's music, it's fun, it's a rehearsal, it's performance on stage, and the people who like your work come and meet you, fans, friends, whatever you want to call them. So it's that keeps you going. So I think if I didn't have music in my life, say for example, I was doing some other work, I was in a company or I was even a teacher, I think it would have been very difficult to handle all this happening, all these losses, and work would have, because my work is on this side of the world, with entertainment and music and singing. And I think it sort of kept me balanced and helped me to get through all this. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. Yeah. So I can say that is what music is for me. It's like a savior.
They say artists suffer more because they feel more. Do you agree?
Yes, we are very, very sensitive people. We feel bad very soon. We get hurt very soon. We're very
At the
sensitive.
same time, artists also forgive very soon because they are sense.
Depends. I think that depends on each one's nature. As a general rule, artists are very sensitive. Now, about forgiveness, it would depend on each one. Yeah, it would depend on each one. My case, I usually don't get hurt easily. I overlook a lot of things, not only in the music field, in anything. So it's like, it's okay, overlook it, let it be. But there comes a point when it becomes too much and then you get really hurt, especially when you don't wish bad to anyone else. You don't do bad to anyone else. And then suddenly some accusations are thrown at you, or somebody talks behind your back to someone else about things which are absolutely nonsensical and, irrelevant and false. Then you wonder, why is that person doing that to me? So that, yes, a couple of people, a couple of instances, I would say, yes, I got really hurt. And then my tactic is, when you get hurt by somebody, you just move away from that person. No altercation, no,
Arguments.
no arguments, because that only heightens it and increases the pain. Just move away and find your peace. Yeah, but yes, we are very sensitive.
Okay. Also, another thing, is there a song that it need not be only a song that is sung by you, that you sing when you are emotional, when you are sad, and like every time you sing it, you get even more emotional? Like I heard people usually have something to go,
No, I don't have a song like that makes me
or maybe
emotional.
any piece of movie, anything that you watch when you are emotional, and that makes you even more. It makes you cry probably, or it maybe.
No, I think at different occasions there are different songs, especially songs that bring back memories. But not any particular one.
Not a particular one.
Not a particular one. And I'm not the type that will sit in,
Fine.
dim lights and sad song. I'm not that type. No. Yeah, I do feel emotional. It can be in a bright day, driving the car somewhere, and a song that reminds me of my childhood with my brother, or a song that my dad would play, or a song that my mom would sing, or something. Yeah, I do get just breakdown. But I think I have the right to do that.
Yes. Have you ever been in love?
Have I ever been in love? So many times. I've got 3 still outside there with 4 legs. I'm totally in love with them. Yes, it's a lovely feeling.
Okay. How do you look at the concept of marriage and the society? What is marriage to?
Um, I think marriage is a very, very demanding job. if you want the marriage to work. If you want to be married just for the sake of being married, it's very easy. Tell your parents, they'll find a partner and you can get married. But to have a marriage that is called successful 25, 30 years later is a lot of work from both the
That's right.
partners. Yeah. It is not just now I'm married, so I can do whatever I want, or now I'm married, this is your job, that's my job. No. It is looking after and being there for each other. Most important. Finances, relatives, neighbors, house, societal, whatever, standing in society, all that is irrelevant. I think for me, if you are not the type that is going to adjust for another person so that your marriage stands, you don't get married. Because you're only going to suffer and make the other person suffer. But unfortunately that happens in our society because it's a norm that everyone should get married, and those who are not born to be married end up messing their own lives and others, and it's some of them agree and just adjust with it and pull on, but it's not easy. Marriage is not easy. There's lots of adjustment, molding that happens.
Being a female artist performing on this stage, have you ever felt being judged for who you are than for what you do?
I don't think so, because I don't think like that. When I look at a person, I'm looking at that person. It doesn't even come to my mind whether it's a boy or a girl. Say if I'm talking to a musician, it's a musician.
Yes.
So the whatever we are discussing about music, does it make sense to that person or not? Or what is that person saying? Does it make sense to me? If I'm talking to a doctor, and this is the matter, this is the point to be investigated. I'm talking to a doctor. Doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman. I'm talking to a worker who's going to come and do some work for me. It's a worker. So it doesn't matter. So gender has never come in this idea. Since I don't look at them like that, when anyone, I have audience or I have people, I don't think they are looking at me, or it doesn't come to my mind that they're looking at me because I'm a girl or I'm a female. It doesn't come to my mind. Yeah.
But is there a different paycheck for a female artist and a male artist?
I think I don't think by gender, but yes, there is a difference sometimes made depending on the seniority of the artist, also depending on the investment. Like I know where the certain bands where the payments are not equal because the musicians have invested in the instruments, so they get more, and usually the musicians are men, and the singer who doesn't have any instrument invested in gets paid less, and usually that's a girl. So it's not because of the gender, I think it's because of the investment. But I did not really have to face that much because my career shot up quite soon. So it reached a stage where the shows were coming in because it was Hone Sirsat. So, and my musicians were very, very, very adjusting, and as I told you, they all had their day jobs. So this was not what they were depending on totally. Plus they were 20 years senior. So they were very mature and, they understood. So, and very supportive. So yeah, I did not have that paycheck problem.
Okay. Nowadays, there's a lot of power politics wherever we go. It need not be only in this industry. Everywhere you go, there is power politics. So, and that's full of nepotism. Do you think real talent still gets its space?
There is space. Now, whether that space is on the top or in the middle or, that's a different story. But there is always space. In my industry, I think in music, there is space for all of us. As I said, in Goa, there's opportunity for all of us. Yes, favoritism does happen. Politics does happen. There's always somebody that's has a godfather somewhere. I never had a godfather. People liked my work. They called me. And they continue to call. So, and likewise, there are certain people with whom I worked and I've never worked with them again. So probably they like someone else, which is absolutely fine.
Fine.
Yeah. So, yes, but I have come across certain occasions where you know for sure that this is going to go to so and so. I have never done favors. Like we do have in our industry, like, you give me this show, I'll do another show free for you, or things like that. Never. I was even called a businesswoman once. Because, because I think that was when I was doing these Konkani musical shows. And I had a particular, so for 2 songs, these are my charges. Every additional song, this is my charge, whatever. So they were like, somebody felt offended. And then there was even a comment on social media, which is a businesswoman. It is my profession. That is
Definitely.
what I pays my bills.
True.
So if you are going for a job, I'm sure you will also want to know exactly what your salary and everything's going to be. So it's my work. So I look at it as work. I don't look at it as pastime. Singing is work for me. So I'm serious about it, as you would be, a teacher would be preparing her lessons, or an engineer would be doing his drawings, or whatever. So that way.
You are into this Fado music.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate what exactly is this concept?
So fado is a Portuguese word.
Okay.
It means destiny or fate. Fado. And it is the name of a type of music. This genre comes under semi-classical Western music. Now, how to explain what is the music? Its easiest way is fado is the Portuguese cousin
Okay.
of the Indian ghazal. So if you know what is ghazal, you know what is fado. So it's a type of singing which has very beautiful lyrics, very deep meaning lyrics, not some light song. It has a lot of soul in singing. It has a few instruments accompanying it. Usually there are 2 guitars. Nowadays, they have experimented with other instruments. Like I have experimented fado with Indian sitar, santoor, tabla, bansuri. So that is my experimentation. So they also experiment there with violin, piano, drums, accordion, cello. So they bring Western instruments. So a lot of experimentation is happening. Fado is evolving, but traditionally it was just 2 guitars and voice. So that is what fado is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you sing?
A line in fado? So this is my one of my favorites. It's called Fria Claridad,
Okay.
which means cold light. Normally when you see lights, it's festivities, it's warmth, it's celebration, it's happiness. But the lights of a city where nobody knows me are cold. That's the gist of the song. So it's called Fria Claridad, the cold light. No meio da claridade daquele tão triste dia, grande, grande era a cidade e ninguém me conhecia. Grande, grande era a cidade e ninguém me conhecia. The city was big. Grande, grande era a cidade. The city was big and grand. Mas ninguém me conhecia, but nobody knew me.
You have such beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Okay. Man, do you think pain creates a better art? Can you create a piece of any form of art without experiencing it?
In my world, no, pain is required. In fado, it's required.
Because the song you said made me think of it.
Yeah. So when I went to Portugal, one of my early trips, I was singing. I was already 28, and I was singing fado in these very traditional places where they sing fado. And in one of my conversations with a musician, he asked me, he said, I shouldn't ask a lady her age, but how old are you? I said, I'm 28. He said, so you've already had your heart broken and you can definitely sing the pain out. So yeah, in the fado, it is expected that you sing that pain through your song. So yes, a little pain is required.
Because when you were singing the song, I could feel the pain in the lyrics. I was like, this is required.
Yes, it is required.
Uh, Coming back to the social media thing. Nowadays, everyone is on social media. Do you think it helps artists to make sure that their content reaches to larger audience? Or do you think the quality of art has been deteriorating because of social media?
I can say both. Social media has helped, um, especially during our lockdown time. A lot of musicians that were, in this hectic drill of shows every day, performing every day, started producing lovely original stuff
At home.
at home in their home studios, or just rehearsing in front of their mobiles or whatever. And they would come up with some new stuff, they would come up with innovation. It sort of give us time to relax, unwind, and then
With something.
create something with our talent. So that was one good thing that happened. And social media helped to share it with the world. So if you notice, pre-COVID, post-COVID, there has been a drastic change in the um, type of music being played in Goa and being created in Goa, apart from just that Bollywood stuff being played. So the local artists, the local talent has been more productive. Social media helped to take that to the world. So a lot of groups became very popular online during the lockdown. And like when I travel abroad and all, they all talk about this group and that group and that group, who I have not personally witnessed, because I haven't gone for a live show. Many of them have only online shows. Or now also, if they have live shows, I haven't attended as yet. So, but the fans, abroad, they really love, adore them, and watch them all the time, which is excellent. But I would also say, because there are many tricks available now, genuine stuff and non-genuine stuff, it's very difficult to distinguish between the two. So sometimes you have a video where somebody is just singing and she sounds beautiful, but actually it's been done in a studio, it's been auto-tuned and all, and then she's just lip syncing. So you don't know. And if it's a live, the person is singing in front of you. Or if they're lip syncing, you'll be able to make out. But if it's a video, it's a reel, you can't really make out whether the person is really singing or that voice has been touched. Touch up has been done and has made sounds immaculate. So that sort of things you cannot help. Yeah. So I would say both.
Yeah.
Also, social media, one thing that I feel social media has done is has made everybody an expert in every field. So everybody is a philosopher. Earlier, we used to listen to the elders and they would tell us, give us, knowledge, and through their experience, they would talk. Here, they're talking left, right, and center, without experience, without knowledge. And that sometimes, I think, backfires and backfires. Now, you have to be thick-skinned to not let it affect you. And then you just leave it and go ahead.
Can you tell us about your latest movie, Claudia?
It's the first movie I have done a little bit of acting in. I had done a small one scene in a documentary before, but here there is like a character, and I have a few scenes in the movie. And primarily, it's my voice through the movie. So the main character in the movie is called Claudia, and Claudia is a singer, and all her songs are sung by me. So I'm the playback singer there for her. But I also play a small role where I'm her mother.
Okay.
Mother of Claudia. So, so there's a, There's a little bit of acting that was offered, and I hope I've done justice to it. It's a beautiful movie. It's about a daughter and her father relation. It is about a friendship. It is about good neighbors. It's about love. It's about music. It's about Goa. So there's a lot of, and it's very emotional. And it's got songs that we have all heard in the past and grown up listening to. So, like, I remember when it was being screened for IFI, a lot of people in the audience were singing along, because these are songs that we know and we've always loved. So that's Claudia. It's a very nicely directed movie. There are certain shots in the movie which I like very much. Like there is one where um, the main actress is entering her house. It's a beautiful Goan house, typical yellow and white, and then she's going in flashback. So when she goes in flashback, the entire house, which is yellow and white, goes into grayscale, but beautifully, and she's walking from the beach side. So there's sound of waves, and the sound of the waves disappears, and the house goes to black and white. And then there's a scene of the past. So instances like that, nuances like that, which are really very beautiful in the movie. And I like the movie very much. All of us who have acted in the movie have cried watching the movie. So an audience also has said the same thing. So I like the movie.
So Shirish is also in the movie, right?
Shishir Sharma.
Yes.
Yes. Shishir Sharma is one of the main characters. He is the father of Claudia in the
But
movie.
does he know to speak in Konkan?
He did. He made a big effort, and you can see the result. So he does understand Konkani, but a dialect which is, I think, from Karnataka.
Mangalore.
I'm not sure if it's Mangalore or it is. There's another place where they speak Konkani, because his wife is from there, and so he understands Konkani, but that particular dialect. But here there was, of course, a language expert who was training them, and he did an excellent job. His Konkani is quite well pronounced there. Yeah.
So we have a small fun game for you from this, okay? So we'll be giving you one ingredient, like I'll say a name of one ingredient, and you are supposed to tell me 5 dishes in which that ingredient is used as a core ingredient within 5 seconds.
Oh gosh. Food.
Yes.
Okay.
Aren't you a foodie?
I am.
Do you cook by yourself?
I do a little bit, yes. I like.
We'll go ahead with it.
All right.
So the first ingredient is coconut. You have to tell me 5 dishes in which coconut is used as the main ingredient. But you have only 5 seconds.
Curry,
Okay.
alebele,
Yes.
batika,
Okay.
chutney,
Okay. Done.
nyo.
Okay. Next is cashew. Cashew nut.
Cashew nut,
Yes.
ladu,
Okay.
katli,
Okay.
cashew, pulao. We put it in pulao.
Okay.
I use it in cakes. I don't know. What's the main ingredient cashew? Yeah, ladu.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
Barfi.
Yeah, but katli, cashew katli. Cashew katli is it, barfi.
Okay. Next is cheese.
Cheese, pasta,
Okay.
cheesecake.
Yes.
I don't know what else. Cheeseburger,
Yes.
cheese omelette,
Pizza.
pizza. Yes.
Last one is Fanny based dish
Oh God.
or a cocktail, anything drink.
Nah, I'm very bad. This is a bad department for me. There's a lot of fanny drinks going on now, but no, I'm zero here. Absolutely zero.
Okay. But you have played well. You have played well for around 3 rounds, and one final round is remaining. That is, you have to. The last ingredient is garlic.
Garlic,
Yes.
garlic chutney, pickle, pulao, garlic bread, Garlic sticks, breadsticks, I don't know. Yeah, garlic is an ingredient I love.
Because you have played well and because you are winning, we have a small voucher for you given to you by Terra by Ocean Palm Go.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, we are going to go there once we are done with the recording over for. We usually go there to shoot most of our things because that is kind of a place which gives us homely feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The vibes are amazing. The food is nice. So you can also check in sometime.
Lovely. Thank you.
So this is a memento given to you by
Thank you.
and this is a voucher from Terra by Ocean.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And-
Thank you for coming home. And I hope the drive was not too long.
No, it wasn't. It's fun when we are together.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Most welcome. I'm really wondering where I should go after this podcast. I'm already hungry right now, but as soon as I finish this, I think it would be nice if I can go to Terra because the place gives best vibe and best food.
If you have enjoyed watching this episode, then please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also, check out Terra by Ocean Palms Goa if you are in and around Kalangut. Until the next time, this Priyanka Naik Desai is signing off. Thank you.